Hi Spencer, if you've managed to set up your hosts file, this video is kind of showing you how to update and edit the site using the ModX content management system. Though not all of the features are finished yet, there's enough in place within the site now for you to be able to start populating some initial content. So here is a video demonstrating how to do that. So if you've logged in with voiceshowcase.com/manager, you will have had to have obviously set up your host file. If you take a look at the dashboard here, what you can see is this section here called resources. Now this is essentially the page structure for the site, and what's in here mirrors what you'll see at the top here. Right. So if for example you were to drag and drop items around, so let me minimize these a second. So if you drag case studies to the top there, for example, you'll notice it will move in the navigation. So that's one way that things are controlled. What you'll notice is there's a convention here. So the things that are lighter are things that are set to be hidden from the menus. So you can see home doesn't appear in this list. Things that are italic aren't yet published. So if I went to website copywriting, for example, and unpublished it and saved it, you can see that's no longer published. So if I refresh the page, you'll see it no longer appears underneath copywriting. What you'll also tell here, if I republish this, is that pages can belong to pages. So you can actually drag and drop pages within pages, and that's, again, how it structures the navigation items. Also, some pages, like if we have a look at case studies, you see these. So case studies has a load of child pages here, and these child pages is what's populating this list. Something worth pointing out, if you notice, copywriting is not clickable. So any navigation item that has children that appear in the navigation at all aren't clickable. So case studies, though it has children, is clickable because none of the children are set to show on the menu, which you can see if I click on one of these. You can see all of these are hidden from the menu. Right. So that's kind of the basics of the structure. Now let me tell you a little bit about how pages work. So pages, essentially every page on the site follows a particular page theme. So when you add a page, which you can do by clicking this button, or you can right click on a page that exists to duplicate it, you essentially pick a theme. So here are all the different themes, and the theme is essentially a different structural look and feel of a particular page. So you can see if I go to About, an example drop down, you can see this one is as wide as the page. It's got no columns. Whereas if we went to a particular case study list, you've got a list page, and then if you click onto a particular item, it doesn't do what I want. Well, if you click, there you go. So if you click onto a particular item, what you can see is you've got a column here and it's all editable. Okay, so that's kind of the basics of themes. What you can also see here is, so let's say we click to edit a particular page. You've got the title, which is the title of the page, long title, which appears in the bar and shows to Google. Description is, again, the description that's shown to Google and search engines. And the summary is text that's shown on any list. So what you can see, if we go to the home page and scroll down, you can see all of these blog posts have a summary at the bottom of them here, and this is where that is particularly picked up from. So it's generally you show it on list pages. The alias is if I click on another page, for example, is this bit of the URL, so it determines how the page reads in the address bar. So in this case, test article 2 is the alias. Menu title is how it appears in the menu. And link attributes, you can ignore that, you won't need to use that. And then you've got the content of the page, which is essentially the body of the page. So this is my test article in this case. So when you're editing a page, I mean, your main things here, however, you might go, well, how do I edit this right-hand column here? Or there might be a head image you want to update on the page and you don't know how. So for example, this particular blog post here has a head image. You might go, right, how do I edit that head image? I can't see any variables. Well, every page or blog post has something here called template variables. And these are inputs that are specific to the theme you're using. So one theme might have different sets of template variables. So if I click on template variables, you can see you've got all of these ones here. So for example, you can change the head image here, or the thumbnail image, sorry, etc. This is for case studies, so you can set the testimonial text on the case study. You can do all sorts of things like this. So details, you can set the client. And these should make sense, so you should look on the front end and you probably see that there's an area that you can edit and you can do it. I would recommend when you add new pages just duplicating them, because then you know they're going to have the values that they need to have based upon pages that are next to them, which is always useful. So again, the blog has subpages in the same way these do, but they're shown in a slightly different way. So if you click on the blog, you see you've got all these articles. So if we click on one of these articles, you can see it's very, very similar to a page. Ignore this render error here. It's just because I've got my screen size so small, and I normally work on a HD monitor. So if I scale this across, like so, there we go. So what you can see here, if you look, is you've got all of these variables on the right hand side instead, and you've got tags. So I've added these, okay, a little bit rude tags, but these are what control the tags that appear on the particular article. So people can click on the tags to filter by other articles that have tags. What you'll also notice is you've got related posts at the bottom. So this related post is quite clever. It picks up the title of a blog post here, and it picks up the summary, and it shows all blog posts that contain sort of similar words. So it's just quite a clever way of showing related posts in a way that's got some intelligence to it. And again, I mentioned template variables earlier. So if we click on template variables, you can see that this particular article doesn't, but if I go to the blog and scroll down, this is the article we're editing. It's got this nice big head image, right call to action text, which is this, and then you've got the thumbnail image. So if you wanted this image, so on the home page, for example, it shows little thumbnail images. If you want a thumbnail image to be different to the head image, there's where you put it. Now you might notice on this particular one that the right call to action text is empty, yet you've got some text here. The reason for that is there are some global settings on the site, and there's a global setting for this that's used, but it was overwritten if you set it. So if I wrote overwrite in here, for example, and then saved, you'll notice that this overwrites what's there. And you can style this image editor, you can style, and this text editor, sorry, you can style, etc. And you'll see it affects how this appears on the right hand side. Heading 5 is the default one for this right hand column. So you might be going, well, how do I edit the global settings on the site? Well, if you hover over extras, you can see we've got configuration. Now these configuration items are settings that are set across the whole site. So you can see there's a few different things in here. So you've got general, things like default thumbnail images, your email address, your phone number that's used on the site, your logo that's in the top, those sorts of things. Footer text, so there's certain text that's in the footer, like get in touch text at the bottom, here and here, that are editable here in this area. You've also got things like settings on the blog, so this is the right call to action text I told you about. Also, this is important, blog main tags. So if we scroll up here, you see browse by tag. We've got all. These are kind of the main categories of blog that you want people to filter on. So if we put another one here, like copywriting, if you were to write a blog post related to copywriting, and we refresh that, you can see it now appears in the list. And if you tag anything as copywriting, so at the moment there's nothing in there, so if we go to another particular blog and mark it as copywriting, in the tags section, and add that and save, you can see when we refresh it'll appear in the list. So that's kind of how tagging works, and that's how you administer that. But going back quickly to configuration, the last thing is you've also got the ability to set your social links. At the moment I've just set them to this, but this would be a link to your Facebook page as an example. So I'd also like to show you how you use the rich text editor. So I'm going to go and have a look at website copywriting as a service. So we've got all this here. So I noticed on your site you tended to indent an image with some text on your existing site, and I think that's quite a nice way of splitting the page. So I've chosen to adopt that on this site. And you can see if you go into template variables, it's quite easy. You edit your sections here, and every section has an image and some text. If you get rid of the image, for example, and refresh this, you see it fills full width. See? So just bear that in mind. So if you wanted to put another image in, you just click that image icon there, and you can select an image. So the way this file manager works is, so I'm in the public folder, so click public. I'd recommend uploading images and stuff into here so it's all in the same place. You can create folders by right-clicking and creating a directory. So you select the directory you want to upload to, you click this upload button, and you choose files from your computer. So if I wanted to add that in, I've chosen it and I upload. That's now available, and if I click OK, there it is. And if I save, and then refresh the page, you can see it's put it in. Now we automatically process these images, so if I was to view this image, it wouldn't be like huge. So you can upload quite big images and the system automatically sort of scales them and crops them and makes them efficient for web. You're probably used to these sorts of WYSIWYG editors, so you've got bolding, you've got the ability to add images and links and media, and you can edit the HTML if you want to. Probably the main thing is you're going to want to be doing within this is adding images potentially. So you've got the ability to add an image here. You click this box, and this opens your file manager that you saw earlier. But obviously we don't want to do that right now. So that's how you use that. Typically, you're going to write something like this, and if you're styling stuff, it's better to try and use these for headings because it tells Google a little bit about the headings rather than bolding it here. But that's kind of the main side of it. The other thing, there's a convention with links. So you'll notice if I want to make this a link here, what you can do is search for the page. So let's say we want it to link to a particular page, you can search and then find it. But you notice there's this link convention. So we got open square brackets, curly, number, close square brackets. That's basically some syntax that says use the page that's ID 9 and then just create its link automatically. So if I was to insert that link there and view the page, you can see that I don't know where have I put it. I've put it on section 3. You can see that this link here, there we go, links at the bottom. If you look at the very bottom of the bottom left, it says copywriting services. So it links me to here. And that's because copywriting services has the ID 9 here. So that's kind of the main features. There are lots of other features in ModX. For example, actually I'll show you one more thing. So if you click on home, you'll notice that the home page picks up and uses these things here, which are essentially the benefits of Voice Showcase. Now these are picked up using a gallery, so you can see that featured areas on the home page uses a gallery. We've used this. Galleries can be edited in Extras Gallery. So if we edit the Our Features one, the way you add more features to this one is by uploading more images. So if I update this item, you can see the title and the text is what's being pulled in. We did it this way just because it lets you upload multiple images as a gallery, and it just seemed the right way to handle this, as every single one of these has an image. Alright, so like I say, the site isn't fully finished at the moment, so there's some bits we've still got to do. For example, at the moment these testimonials don't populate from anywhere. You've got this doesn't currently come in from anywhere in this section, and there's some discrepancies, like some links maybe not clickable, or this heart icon here means nothing. But for all intents and purposes, the site is now in a position where you can start to log in and populate it with real content. So I hope that's been useful, and that's how to log in and administer and edit your site.